Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And I'm Brandon.
And today we're going to tell you how we felt about John Wick Chapter 2. So a couple years ago, Brandon and I saw the original John Wick and reviewed it here on this very program. And now the three of us got to go see the second part. And this John Wick was a movie that I was initially disappointed with in the ending because I thought that was a good... Spoiler alert, doesn't die. That was a movie...
I haven't seen it yet!
Where I really thought, well... Do you think maybe he came back to life with seeing the second one? Is that what you were thinking?
John Wick has risen.
You were there. He has risen indeed. Anyway, so...
But I've got that Blu-ray DVD combo you watched. I was planning on getting around to it.
Anyway, so initially I was a little bit disappointed because I was like, oh, he clearly should have died at the end of that movie, and they left it open so that they could franchise it out. And now we have Chapter 2, which turns out to be a really... a really good and fair title for this, I think.
I think it should have been called Book 2.
It really, yeah, that's not bad. But
we've been doing chapters lately, like that's a new thing we're doing with movies.
Yeah.
But I kind of think this.
Some of that is Netflix, right?
Maybe, yeah.
But I think it's appropriate because it feels like, right out of the gate, I'll throw a compliment at it. It feels like a story that is continuing and where there is a whole lot I could not have even imagined I was missing in the first movie.
Well, and I wonder if the first film watches differently now.
Yeah,
now that we know how things work more.
I imagine it does, with the veil being lifted back the way it is, yeah.
Sure.
So, Eric, why don't you give us just a brief synopsis, will you?
Of the film?
Yeah.
John Wick kills people.
He does. He does.
And then a bunch of people try to kill John Wick, but he kills them first.
It's all about John Wick. Well, and I should mention that because Eric and I weren't feeling up to spec last week, we weren't able to see it opening night like we wanted to. So of course we're late on this, and I imagine the majority of people who are interested in this film have seen it already. But as we usually do with the show, just in case, we'll keep this to as little spoilers as possible. But anyway, so I guess I'll just say that yes, John Wick kills people. He kills a lot of people. I think he kills a lot more people than he did in the first film. Spoiler alert. And
definitely.
In the first 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Perhaps so.
Okay,
yeah.
that was a good first 10 minutes.
And he, and the idea here is that he is like with the last movie, and this takes place directly after the last film.
Or at least quickly after.
Real soon after.
It's not like the moment next.
He's healed up a little bit because he doesn't have the same wounds he did at the end.
Well, and that have been something.
And that's as much of a sense as I get as far as how much time has passed.
Yeah.
But he's trying to get out of the assassin's life, and he's forced back in by a guy who is part of the kind of royal family of criminality of the assassins.
Because he has a blood debt.
He's got a blood debt, and there's a lot of new rules and mythology that don't feel like an afterthought. They didn't come up. They just feel like there was no reason for us to know about them in the first place, and we get a really good sense of the secret society that's almost like Men in Black level. If you replace the aliens with assassins, it feels like everybody and his dog is an assassin in this movie.
Well, they play it off that way.
Yeah, and so anyway, he is forced to go after someone that he doesn't want to have to kill, and then insanity ensues. Brandon, why don't you start us off, buddy? Tell us how you felt about John Wick 2.
About John Wick 2, I felt this movie made me feel like I just drank 10 gallons of rocket fuel and lit a match.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this was high-octane.
Wow, you have
fuel pun.
Impeccable handwriting.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can read that. He wrote it with a pencil, which he used to kill 3 people just before this.
That's right. This movie was high-octane,
yeah, I'm trying not to flinch so he doesn't think that I'm scared of him. I'm actually mortified. Go ahead.
Terrified of me, all right. The boogeyman strikes again.
How'd you get all the blood off that is what I want to know. It's
this movie, it didn't feel gratuitous because the first one worked so well, and you understand why he's killing all of these people.
That's amazing.
That's not what I said.
No, I know you didn't. I was just
okay.
What did you say?
It's an HD laundry detergent.
Within this universe, we've got a certain set of rules that, while they're not there's a point where a couple of rules are explicitly stated, but you do get a feeling for there to be some sort of... This is a case where there might be honor among thieves in a way. And I feel that it actually works quite well. And having seen the first one, and I remember getting out of the first one, like you, when we originally talked about it, we were kind of concerned that they would have to have a good story to make the second one, because
actually, like I said, I was like, this is one thing that does not need a franchise, and boy, was I wrong.
But it works. Like, this is a clear indicator that they knew what they were doing, and I don't know how much of this story was set in stone when they finished the first one, but it works for me. One of the things that you mentioned was you weren't quite sure exactly how long after the first one this took place. Keep in mind that he's going to want to bury his guns and things as quickly as possible, and that still hadn't happened yet by the beginning of this movie. He does that. So I'm thinking
not even
maybe
convinced
2 weeks.
That he got back to the house.
Right. I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
You don't think so?
Less
you think
than
that's
2
on the way
weeks.
back?
Well, I think he might have come back to the hotel for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe kind of here. So
week,
maybe
2 weeks,
a couple, 2 weeks.
He had to heal himself up, but it certainly wasn't the couple of years it's been in real life.
I don't know if I'm giving anything away. I don't remember if he had this in the first one, but his animal in this movie.
Yeah, he gets that. He gets that at the end.
He got that at the end.
Yeah, do you remember?
He must go back to the house because the dog's there when he goes back at the beginning.
Good point. But it all culminates. Yeah, you're right. Right out. I think right outside where he walks for a while and gets there in Animal Shelter.
Okay, that's
at the
right.
End of the first movie. Yeah. I was a little fuzzy on in that movie why he chose that particular animal. It seems like he just kind of arbitrarily picked one.
Might just been a little sad.
Well, his choice. Believe it or not, his choice of name for that pet is also something I've considered time and again if I ever had a dog. So I thought that was kind of fun.
I don't even remember what they finally land on.
They don't.
Well, I was.
Yeah, so I'm not
I didn't want to give that away.
Oh, okay.
Well,
did they land on something?
No.
Oh. Okay, all right.
So, anyway...
which is better than the obvious joke that I feel like we always do with tough characters, where it's like, what's the horse's name? Horse?
I thought he was gonna let the person that watches the dog through the movie name it.
Yeah. You know, that was a great scene where he says that he would offer that service.
Yeah,
and I just thought, oh, that's... This guy...
I don't think that's giving away too much. We're talking about the guy at the hotel.
Yeah,
this guy is
a desk clerk,
This guy... He's got anonymity. He's got professional courtesy. Right. He's also got he's very stoic. And there's another word I'm looking for. It's escaping me right now. But he's very professional about his job. So that was nice. If I had to pick one great thing about this movie, I'm going to say that. Well, I'm going to say right now, I dug the cinematography in this movie.
Sure.
Quite frankly. It plays very similar to the first one for me. I believe you mentioned it has a different director.
No,
or it's one of the two guys that did the first one.
Yeah, two guys did the first one together, and this is just one of those two.
Were you getting, certainly much more violent, but were you getting Skyfall vibes?
A little bit in the lighting and how it's shot.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoever lit this movie needs to win an
maybe.
Oscar. It is lit amazing. We go to Rome, and I've never seen Rome look like it looks like this in this movie.
Rome looked so good in this movie.
Yeah.
There were a couple of moments, though, where I noticed the tone of how they had to film in certain locations differed from the tone of stuff that might have been more studio-oriented. And maybe, I don't know how much CGI is used to fill in backgrounds here. But there were a couple of times where you could tell...
Did you think some stuff looked too studio?
Well, no, some stuff looked too realistic, like they filmed it in high def out in the real world. It just had a different... There's a little bit of a different...
I thought everything felt on location.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, there was just stuff that felt
and you're right,
too real.
Built some sets,
don't misunderstand what I'm saying. There's a way things can look too real. It has more of an ultra... It's the difference between looking at a high-def television without motion stabilization and a high-def television that has motion stabilization. Those who have seen that in person know what I'm talking about. It's very hard to explain. But some of the stuff in Rome, you can see a different... When it pans, you can see a different tracking of the colors and the undertones than you do maybe in some of the stuff that might be lit with different lighting on a set, even if it's on location. So that would probably my biggest detraction from this movie. Gosh, where do I find one? This was pretty good. The music played really well into this. There were places where he went to some I wouldn't call them raves, but kind of more modern.
Yeah, like in the first one where we go to like the kind of club.
Yeah, there were some
couple
club
of things
settings
that you can expect in a lot of action movies Keanu Reeves is in. You can expect raves or some other sort of dance party, and you can expect subway trains.
Oh my goodness! Yes, can I just say what I said in theater was that when he enters that last room. And he's looking.
I guess hotels is also a thing. Oh, and so, excuse me, and places that are considered neutral ground.
Oh,
that seems to show
that's
a lot.
really important in Keanu Reeves films.
Neutral ground. Okay, so he enters that room, and I turned to Cap and I said he's looking for the architect because it really did have that air. It really did have that air to me of he finally gets to his goal, if you will, his target. And it's this room where it's a bunch of him showing up on a bunch of surfaces. So I just thought that was really kind of a not specific tie-in or anything like that. But it just, like, here's two movies that have this very similar thing going on, and it kind of was funny to me.
This doesn't happen as often. I mean, like, because I don't know if you can consider that typecasting, where it's like, okay, we've got this movie with all these elements that feel like they're for Keanu Reeves. We better go to that guy. It's usually when you have these weird disparate elements that show up a lot in somebody's work. It's usually because they're involved in plotting, in writing, and he's not.
Well,
so I do not understand that unless it's we cast him first and then we go, let's put in Keanu Reeves things, which is probably what it is.
That might be what it is because let's face it,
Hell is also a big thing.
When Keanu Reeves is in a movie,
you know, literally here, but
when Keanu Reeves is in a movie,
descension into hell of sorts,
he is the guy you need to have. Like, he doesn't do a movie in which he's not that guy.
And I've talked about that a lot, where, like people talk about how Keanu Reeves doesn't have a lot of range and that makes him a bad actor. No, he doesn't have a lot of range. There's the one thing he can do, and don't cast him for...
There's actually two things he can do.
He's a total baddie.
He just hasn't done the other one in about 2 decades.
No, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah. I just mean in an action movie. But anyway.
So
you gonna flip your sign?
I'm feeling it. Right there, that's for sure.
Go ahead, Eric.
All right, so I really like the first John Wick, and I've many times since I've seen it kind of described it as like a class on effectively telling a simple story.
Yeah.
So this movie made me feel like I was in a class on how to make an effective sequel.
Yeah.
And this
is not the same kind of simple.
I like
this is
totally
way
works.
more complex.
Yeah.
It's exactly what every sequel should be. It builds on what was there and goes forward.
Sounds like the obvious thing to bring up. It feels like what Matrix Reloaded thought it was.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah, this is the better Matrix trilogy.
In the way it ends.
Oh yeah. But this is but this is
reviewing movies with a bunch of Kool-Aid man.
But this is a movie that just
you don't still have the brick wall behind us.
takes everything that works about the first one and just kind of ups it and goes forward. We do not regress.
But it doesn't feel over the top for this property.
No.
No, I mean I would call certain things over the top,
right?
But not for this universe.
Not outside this
right?
universe.
Exactly. It works.
And things that you wouldn't have thought you could get away with until again we lifted that veil back. We've drawn the curtain back.
And it doesn't feel like
this is a real heightened universe.
It doesn't feel like it's a regression. This is not the first movie again. Which is kind of what I thought it was going to be. I think the trailers for this were great in giving me basically nothing. Because I saw the trailer.
They're basically saying. I mean, I only saw a TV spot. I was trying to avoid the trailers, but but I think they're probably basically saying if you like that movie, you're going to want to see the next one.
Yeah.
But they're not giving you a sense of how mythology heavy it's going to be.
Well, this movie does a good job of really taking the first story and continuing it
Yeah,
in a way
exactly.
I didn't think that they could do, and I thought they really pulled that off, because it really does feel like it is the next logical progression in how the story ended in the first one.
But I'm sorry, we're cutting into your bit. Go
It's
ahead.
cool. It's cool. But I thought it did a really good job of not, because I just assumed, and even at the beginning of this movie, I still assumed I was going to see. I thought the guy was going to come to him and be like, "I need you to do this job," and that was going to be the movie. We were going to see the same movie basically, where he would kill his way to a target, and then maybe at the end of the movie he would go kill the guy that hired
And then
him.
the only difference really would be that well, no, I guess he was kind of hired in the first in the first place.
Yeah. Whereas we get like maybe halfway through this movie, and I don't know how the movie's going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then it keeps going, and it just keeps getting bigger and crazier. And
No, that's true. He does seem to accomplish what he's after real quick.
Yeah. And I was like, oh well, that's. I guess the movie's not over.
Everything crumbles.
Yeah, and it's. I think the stunt work in this is amazing. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about stunt work, it's a lot of like wire work and like actual legitimate stunts. The choreography, what is physically done in fight scenes, is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's pretty darn good.
And in crowds of people.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
Real close, tight fights.
On location, in like really tight quarters in some
On
places.
stairs.
Mm-hmm.
I narrow
the
passageways.
stairs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the stairs.
Man, when they got to the end of that spiel, I thought that was hilarious. Like, I did not see that part coming. Like, I was like, okay, it's over. No, okay.
Well, everything good comes in threes.
Including killing people with pencils. Which is my biggest problem with the movie.
My best thing.
I'm just kidding.
Best thing's hard to pick. You know what?
Yeah.
I had something. I thought of something as the best thing, and I was like, I don't know if this is like.
John Wick killed it.
I mean, he kills everything.
He killed it.
Oh man.
He nailed it. I don't think he actually uses a nail gun.
No,
but it would be
it's
fitting
not.
if he'd had to go to a hardware
Nailed it.
store and he could have found power tools to jam up somebody's nostrils or something.
Oh man, I had a best thing, and it was like a minor little thing that just makes me laugh, and I can't think what it is now. Picking a best thing's tough. It's just this movie's just really good.
So much of the best.
The best thing
really
is
good.
it works.
And it doesn't feel overcrowded with like, because everyone for the first movie comes back. Like
That's
like in the
alive.
beginning. Yeah. Everyone's still living at the end of the first movie, comes back in some way, and plays a role in this film. Since I can't think of whatever it was that I was trying to think of, I'm just gonna go with Ian McShane. I think he's amazing in this movie.
Yeah,
I like
me
him
too.
usually, and I think he kind of steals every scene he's in. Worst thing is there is a character in this film who I do not understand their role in this movie, other than that they're going to be important in the next movie. I don't understand what the importance of that character being here
I
is.
think with the advertising, it's okay to come out and say who we're talking about.
Okay, Lawrence Fishburne.
It's Lawrence Fishburne.
Who I thought was the villain of the movie based on the trailer.
That's what I thought
Everybody
too.
told me the trailers made it look like it, because that was the reason I was avoiding it. Because Eric was like, "Cap, you're not gonna believe who's in this movie," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to know."
And that's
like,
why
it's somebody you're excited about. And then I had it spoiled for me, and then I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to see this." I loved him. But he's in one
he's
scene.
great.
He's phenomenal. I don't know what he does to help John that no one else could have done. I don't know why John needed to go to him. Other than, I'm sure he'll be important in the next one.
Yeah, and I think that will all become clear.
Yeah.
And I
but
think the
in
movie
this
made
film
it-
as a self-contained entity...
But it's not, and I think it made itself really, really clear. I think it made it really clear pretty early on that it was not necessarily
Then I do not have a worse thing.
going to be. But I think it's fair enough. And maybe this isn't even entirely what you're talking about. I think it'd be fair just to say, just for the sake of taste, and that it sold the movie on him some. I expected him to be in more of it. But he's such a presence for the few minutes that he's there.
He's great.
That he really is there to say, I'm going to be a big deal next time, and that was really exciting.
Is he a friend of John Wick's?
He has the funniest line of the whole movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And I just lost it. I also, because this could be laid on too thick as far as fan service goes, but I thought
The introductory line.
Yeah, well, it really the introductory exchange was really fun in the subtext about the real life history of their working together in the Matrix. I thought that totally worked. And what's really fun about it is the first 3 or 4 lines of that exchange all could be used to just describe their working together in the Matrix, and then as it moves along, it slowly stops working and being about that. Where it's like, and I gave you a gift, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't actually fit anymore.
Well, I wasn't on the set. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but of course, I'm also thinking about those characters in that movie, and I'm like, are you talking about the red pill? Is that what you're talking about?
That character was obviously an acquaintance of John Wick's, but they must not have been friends.
No,
or anything like that.
He tried to kill him.
Right, he still wanted him
and that's
dead
the only
too.
time they've ever met. He goes, we met, and I don't think you remember me.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Oh, that's right.
He's killed and almost killed so many different people.
Thank you. I forgot about that. But he knew about him for some reason.
But he's really powerful and really mysterious, and that guy's not living the high profile like high life that a lot of
he's
these
a
he takes care of carrier pigeons.
There's that bit where he's like, now we're just talking about this one scene, but there's the bit where he's like, I have all this, why would I need you? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
How did you feel about when they made the phone call for when they made the phone calls to put out hits and they're using the old legacy systems?
Yeah, I didn't want to bring that up. I didn't want to spoil that because that's so cool.
I'm sorry,
but yeah, I mean, and that's part of the lore.
Okay.
In like making this a really distinct,
separate
new way to do the criminal underworld like that. Yeah, that's genius.
Yeah, untraceable, and I just thought that's so great, just absolutely wonderful.
I'll go ahead and flip my board. This movie made me feel like I was in a far more heightened and fascinating world behind the world than I was aware of in the first movie, and I've already talked about that some.
That's a good board. I like it.
My favorite thing about this, and I don't usually go to this, but it's setting.
Oh, yeah.
Rome is amazing, and as you said, I was going to make the same point. I've never seen Rome look like this before. But it also has an incredible setting for its third act, which I won't give away, or for the big climactic action scene.
It is the third one we've seen in a week, you and me.
The third one. Oh, of these?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and every time I've seen it,
it looks amazing.
It's been kind of cool and different. But you're right, there's been a bunch of them. And they're everywhere. They're all over the place. 2 of them are Batman things. This is not. But yeah, I was really impressed that we were able to ramp things up, even getting, like, leaving Rome and going back to New York and still having such an impressive action set piece to finish it with. Because I didn't think you could top what you did in Rome. The stuff around the ruins in that with that rave party was incredibly atmospheric, and I've never seen anything like that.
I remembered my best thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my best thing, because you brought up the rave, and it's tied to the rave. I made this joke about how in action movies we always do the thing where like we like kill like 60 people and then like we try and like leave through the party and hope no one notices that we're like covered in blood.
Yeah.
We just have the action scene in the rave and try to hide it from people while we're just murdering people.
Oh my goodness, that scene where they're shooting their silenced guns at each other inside the building.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that was hilarious.
I saw, and that's included in this, I saw a number of really creative kind of action gags with especially gunplay that I've never seen before. The thing with waiting for the fountains.
That was cool.
That was really clever, and of course there are a lot of just like with the first movie, but more of them, and frankly there were just more kills in general, like we said earlier. I saw
so many kills.
I saw a lot of really creative but ultra super brutal ways to kill people. If I was not desensitized to this sort of violence, I am now. Although I have to mention that I have such a weak stomach, there were a couple of things that got me in the stomach a little bit. Yeah.
I can see that.
But then there were other things that I usually look away at that I didn't because I'm just getting used to them. Slit wrists now, I guess I can handle. I don't usually actually look at that.
I feel
but
like
I guess
usually
I can
we don't
that.
shoot it like that.
Yeah.
Or we just see it.
Yeah, we just see the aftermath usually. That made me cringe, but ultimately I'm not looking away either.
I really like.
Oh, that whole scene's gorgeous.
I really like thematically how this is about violence begetting violence. That ultimately at the end, like there is a real attempt here, and it makes it much easier to sympathize with some of these characters. And of course, nearly everyone in this universe seems to have a different morality than we do because they're all killers, as far as I can tell. At any point, someone is liable to take out a gun that you wouldn't think has one.
After we finish this series off, we'll spin off and go to like John Wick Assassin College.
That would be just one. I'm pretty sure Agent 47 just is from this world.
At that point, it's almost like who's your enemy and who's your friend, because they're all assassins.
Yeah, and so there is an honor among thieves thing here, or at least we all live by a code. But the problem is
there are rules.
There are rules, but the problem is everybody is expected to and encouraged to pay a blood debt. If someone in their family or someone they care about gets killed, and they have to go, on a vengeance spree. So, no matter how you slice it, you're likely to end up, if you kill someone, being chased by someone later on. There's really no way to be sure that you can live in this world and get out alive.
Yeah. Especially by the end of the movie, it's this real, just like, oh, we're just doing this.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, oh, there's no way out.
Yeah.
And that makes, I think, the first movie even sadder.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because John did get out.
Yeah.
And theoretically, he will never be out ever again.
That's right. And
they've got him again.
And this is a guy who all he had to do was leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
And he was still enough, like, even though he got out and as we're told in the first movie, regular life agreed with him, he was still enough a part of that world that he couldn't just let it be.
He feels compelled. He has real drive when he is slighted. And that's what made him good at what he did in the first place. So he can only be drawn back into it.
But he's also given opportunities for change that he doesn't take. So, I mean, he is the protagonist who refuses to change. Obviously we don't want him to, because then we can't enjoy all the, fun statistic kills. Yeah, and you're right, it absolutely is that. This is one of those things that I can't say is not gratuitous, because it is, but it's stylized violence, and it's like cartoons for adults.
And we very intentionally have no nudity.
Yeah, and I was a little bit surprised by that.
I kind of like that as a choice.
Yeah.
Well, they gave us the backside of one person, but nothing.
Yeah, because we're not
else.
Because we're not sexualizing. Because we could make that really mean-spirited, and I know that sounds weird because of what this is.
Yeah, somehow this is a movie about a world of criminals that doesn't feel seedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just the way people live here.
Yeah.
They've got a set of morals that they live by, just like any other sort of.
My worst thing, and I might not feel like this on a second viewing, my mind wandered through some of the gunplay and action sequences. Some of it just went on too long this time around. And it's impressive that as much of this story is told through just violence without anybody speaking, considering how involved this story is. But I'm thinking more toward the beginning. Yeah, and in the world building, like I'm thinking more toward the beginning than anywhere else. But
his introduction's amazing.
In the middle, there are places where I found myself going like kind of just waiting for the next plot point, because I've seen John Wick grab so many people by the shoulder, pull them down, shoot them in the head, and move on to the next person, that I did get a little bit tired of that after a while. But on the other hand, I like that there was much more of a dance this time with him and a lot of his adversaries, because he goes up against more people that get closer to matching him. and there's a language to the fights where this is how these people speak to each other, and those were the fights that I was really engaged in. When it was John Wick versus 100 henchmen, I kind of lost interest, but when it was him versus his peers, I was real in it.
Well, there's a line that's mentioned by someone at the Continental, I can't think of who it was, when he gets up and walks away, basically, it's the main bad guy, when he basically agrees to do what he's going to do, and by just getting up and walking away, not saying a word, and the guy goes, wouldn't want to waste words. So he's not, I mean, he's just not that guy who's going to start pontificating or be real emotional other than anything in his stoic looks.
Yeah, and we've got a nearly personification of that idea with a character who doesn't speak at all, and is again another almost John Wick equal, but he has no equal.
Using subtitles for sign language was such a brilliant way to continue the subtitle thing.
Yeah, and I liked it a lot better with this movie because it happened more frequently.
But
it kind of got in the way a little bit with the first movie because I had to keep being reminded that we're doing this like really stylized way of
it's like comic book words,
and it's really effective here. And part of that for me is just I'm very much a like word associative kind of learner. So like, I really like that because it helps certain things stick with me more.
You're talking about the comic book style emphasis on the words when they emphasize the words, right? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Very cool.
There's one line in particular. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, and I'm hoping not to give away too much if I bring it up. But there's there's a character, I can't give away the character, but there's a character that calls him something along the lines of the emissary of death itself, but it was even better than that. And it's on screen. And like it was haunting just the way it fades into the screen. That was wonderful. But anyway, so yeah, this is a wonderful movie, and
I think I like it better than the first one.
Yeah,
I don't like,
but it's an extension of that movie.
Yeah,
it's like that movie now serves more as an introduction. Like it's one of those things that
you can't skip it.
Stands alone wonderfully, but if you decided to go forward, now it's part of a greater whole.
Like in recent years, I've really kind of
introduction.
I don't like seeing a movie and then immediately being like, "This is better than this," or "This is like I didn't want to walk out of Civil War and be like, "This is the best Marvel movie." Like I don't have time to process it. I'm pretty sure I like this better than the first John Wick.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's weird to compare them because it is an extension of it, but then, and again, that's why I like the Chapter 2 title, and they're really aware of and making it really clear to the audience what their intention is, what their purpose is with making another one of these. It feels real necessary, but it's impossible in my mind to say that to not say if you put a gun in my head which is better that this is, because this world is so much more interesting than I thought it was.
Yep.
So anyway, any final thoughts before we?
Did you flip your sign?
I did, but I'll do it again. Everybody, thanks always for watching. We sure appreciate it. And Eric and I still have one more.
Hopefully.
How we felt about to do.
We
we still got to do Legion.
Oh yeah, I want to do Justice League Dark.
And we got to do Justice League Dark. I forgot about that. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get to those, and we'll get to Marvel Mania again at the very latest in a couple of days, but probably tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. We sure appreciate it. I am Captain Logan. This was Eric.
I was Eric.
And Brandon.
And I'm Brandon.
See you, folks. This is going to be really funny because yours is not going to show up remotely on camera.
Mine?
His.
Mine.
Oh. Yeah.
Why yours?
I didn't know. Maybe there's something with light and red.
There's nothing with
There's... Yeah.
It's funny because every time anybody's negative, no one can tell.
Well, they just assume by the
camera's
context of it not being
colorblind.
green.
The camera's red-blue colorblind.
Yeah, I have this unfortunate setting in my camera where whenever somebody has anything red, it just chroma keys it out. So I like to do videos like this. It's real amusing. It says not feeling it on my face perpetually all the time. I go to masquerades like this. We film it later on. Everyone can tell who I am. Sorry. That was just the gift that kept on giving. You know, lighting in red. I cannot promise that I won't use that as the stinger. I can't. I make no promises.
Just you making fun of me for 2 minutes straight?
Yeah.
That's fine. There's no videos of me busting your chops.
Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan, and I'm not feeling it. But you can't tell because this is red.